Well, hi, Luann. It's been forever. How are you?
Hi, Mark. I am doing great, and I've missed you, and I've missed our podcasting and talking about Young and the Restless. All we've been able to do lately is text each other
I
about it.
know it's been very rough on us
Yes, it has.
from a counseling standpoint, especially.
Yeah, having withdrawal, soap
Right?
withdrawal.
Me too.
No, it
All right.
feels good to be back and
It's
to have our listening. I was going to say viewers, have our listeners hopefully tuning into us again and hearing about our take on the young and the restless.
right on. Yep, I agree. It's good to be back
Yes.
and good to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you
Also,
too. Yes.
yeah.
Also,
All right. Let's start out with my favorite character, Victor Newman.
Victor.
Let's talk a little bit, Luann, about what he's up to, which is his normal lately is, he isn't, well, he's kind of in business, but his business also crosses into his personal life lately. So I
Hmm.
would say it's all kind of meddling with his kids and his grandkids,
Yeah, and
right?
he's meddling again, not in Nick's or Victoria's lives, but mostly in Claire's. And it's like, boy, as a grandfather, he's taking a big interest in her, especially because she's with an Abbott.
I agree.
I think if Claire was with anyone else but Kyle, Victor would be okay with it. But he's been
He
on a
hates the Abbotts. Yes.
he hates the Abbotts. He's been on a rampage with Jack, with Billy Boy, and Kyle, and throw Diane in there too. He's just anything against them. And Nikki tries to persuade him and coax him into hey, give Claire a break. She's enjoying her time with Kyle, and Kyle's been really good to her. And he's like, nope. I don't want anything. And for a while, it had kind of smoothed over, and it's really gone ratcheted up a little bit.
Victor seems to be gaining anger as time goes along. Yeah,
Hmm.
I would agree
Hmm.
with that.
You know, that gunshot that he endured did soften
Made
him
him,
up, Eddie.
no, if anything, made him more stubborn, I would say.
Yes, it did. It
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
did.
yeah, I
And he
agree.
he sure came through that with flying colors. He was back after a couple
Oh,
days.
wonderful. I mean, for an
Yes,
86-year-old guy, I mean, that's
I know.
pretty impressive.
That is very impressive.
Yeah, okay. So today, Luann, Abby and Devon have a run-in with Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda's back on our show, which
Yes.
is good. I mean,
Yeah, I like
that's good.
Amanda.
Good
And
character.
yes, and Aristotle Dumas, unbeknownst
Yeah,
to all of them, had hired her as his attorney. And she came to town to just reassure them that he's not interested in Winters at all. And it's like Lily doesn't believe him, Devon doesn't believe
I know.
her what she's saying, and now Abby was involved in that too. And they're kind of saying, is this because you have a grudge against us because Devon and Abby are together? And she said, no, it's kind of like leave it alone. And Lily's been, really kind of questioning uh, um, uh, the Damian about
Damian.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, questioning him about it too. And it's kind of like, really, and Damien's kind of been say too. Aristotle Dumas said he doesn't want anything to do with this. Amanda say that, but Devon and Abby were on her
Um,
today. They weren't letting it go. So, and Devon ended his conversation with her by saying, "Set up a meeting for us, and I won't take no for an answer." So it's like,
yep,
okay.
that was good. Yep. So who do you think, Luann? Who do you think is Aristotle Dumas?
I don't know. And everybody in Genoa City is trying to figure that out, because Victor has his eyes on him. I don't think he knows Billy has hearing from Aristotle Dumas, and but not in person. And even Damien has not really, you know, too much to do with him. So it's kind of like I don't know. Who do you think it might be? Because I don't think it's unless Amanda's not sharing, but if it was someone that she already knew and that she knew that they knew, and she wasn't real big on him, I don't think she would have gone to work for him.
Right. I was thinking, for a while I thought it was Victor, actually.
Really? Like an
yeah.
alias for him?
Yeah. Yep. That he's hiding behind an alias. And I don't know. I suppose it was some creative writing that could still be true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But
To
I
set
also
up.
think it's somebody that from Victor's past or from, it could be like a Jill Abbott.
Yeah.
Jill's
Yeah.
been absent for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of, so it's going to be, if it's not Victor, it's going to be some old
Character.
old character
Yes.
rival on the
That,
show, I think.
that they're bringing back because,
Yeah.
if it was Victor, it would be only to see how he could set Billy up, but I don't know why he would do that.
I don't know.
And a court, in that one scene a couple days ago where Phyllis was trying to reach Aristotle Dumas, there was a young man who was his receptionist. So I didn't recognize him. So I don't know.
I don't either.
And who was the guy that for a while I was thinking it was him that wanted to marry Ashley. Remember from way back. About a year ago, and he was a fun character on the show, and he flew on the airplane in on an airplane. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, at first I thought it might be him, and I thought no, Amanda would not work for him.
Right.
I'm drawing a blank on what his name was
I can't think of what the storyline was.
They brought him back. Remember, he had a thing with Diane, and he liked Ashley a lot, and then, but I can't remember. So.
Well, if it comes to you, text me.
Yeah, I'll do that. But then I figured out I don't think it's him because Amanda wouldn't work for him.
I can't think of who that is. I'm drawing a blank on.
God, I'm drawing a blank too. I gotta look back at my notes.
All right, so let's talk about
Tucker.
Oh, Tucker McCall.
It was Tucker McCall. That's who I was thinking it might be.
Tucker, sure.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Actually, Luann, I think that's a hell of a good guess.
But I don't think Amanda would work for him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would agree with you on his face. It doesn't seem like she would, but I don't know. It's a soap opera, Luann.
Yeah,
They're able to kind of, they manipulate each other, and then all of a sudden somebody's working for somebody you think would never happen.
Right.
But we'll see. But I do like that. I think that's a really good guess on your part.
Okay.
Let's see if that ends up becoming true.
How quickly we forget Tucker.
I know, and I like Tucker as a character.
I know, me too.
So Kyle wants to figure out what Audra's up to, and he's kind of willing to do whatever's needed to accomplish that. I think, including a romantic interlude.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what Victor was trying to persuade Audra to do, and I could tell she was torn because she really does like Nate, and Nate they're a good couple together, Nate and Audra, and so she it will be interesting to see how much she pushes it to be with Kyle, and Kyle wants to find out what he knows Victor's backing her, but what she'll be doing. And it sounds like Victor's holding out a little bit of the money because Nate said, Victor hasn't really come through yet with everything, but I think he wants to see more results from Audra. So that'll be interesting. And like you said, Claire really didn't like how that conversation was going today.
Well, you can't blame her. I mean,
no,
right?
No.
I mean, a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of, and Claire has, because since it's been a while, Claire has really grown in the position, in her role, and she's got a nice soul, as she's very caring to people, but she's very cautious, she's caring, but she's cautious, and I think like when Kyle wanted her to move. He wanted them to move in together, as she was okay with it at first, and then she pulled back and she said, I don't know if I want to do that. It's kind of rushing it. So she's got a good head on her shoulders, it seems. Yeah. And I hope Kyle doesn't use that wrong, and treat her poorly because of that. But I think she's a very good person. She's made Kyle better, but he doesn't trust Audra, and he's going to do whatever he has to double cross her too. There's no love lost there with him and
No.
Audra.
No, there's not. All right. So Jack and Diane, a little ditty about Jack and Diane
Yeah. Two American kids growing up
growing up in the hard
in the
land.
land.
Little John Cougar Mellencamp there
Yes.
for our listeners. Just not done well by me anyway.
No, you sounded good.
So Jack and Diane, Diane had done a kind of major renovation on the ranch, on the
Yeah. And that
Abbott
was
ranch. And what do you
Yes.
think about it all, Luann? What do you
Well,
think about it?
I think it looks nice. It needed some freshening up. And I mean, they spent enough time on that. And Diane was getting stressed out. It's like, really? Is this what your show is about today? About remodeling? And Jack was having heartburn with it because he's like, hey, you're going to change everything. You know how I am with change, and I like this. But then afterwards, he, once she had him come back, he and Kyle both really liked it. Billy was not as responsive to it, the changes, and he said because a lot of his memories were there, and Billy didn't spend a lot of time in the house. So, his memories now are gone. And it's like, Billy, get over it. You weren't there that much anyway. And so she was a little taken back. But then, Jack said, no, this looks nice. And now Tracy and Ashley are coming in a week to visit. And so Diane's a little nervous with that. She said, I don't worry about what Tracy will think, but more so Ashley. So knowing both of them, I think Tracy she'll be okay with it, but she'll say there's some things I wish we wouldn't have changed, but it's okay. Where Ashley will find things wrong with it.
Fine.
Just because Diane did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter that, Diane has been good for Jack, and Diane's been on really good behavior with Jack.
She is.
So.
Yeah. She seems to genuinely care about Jack.
Oh,
so
she
that's great.
does. She does. And Jack needed a love in his life. So Diane is a good fit because Phyllis wasn't a good fit for Jack. She's not a good
We
fit
as
for
listeners and watchers wanted Jack to fall back in love. And now it's
Yes,
happened.
we did. And now it's happened, and he's happy.
And he's happy. So we're all happy.
Let him be. Let
Let
him
him
be.
be. Leave him alone. Victor Newman, damn it. All right, so let's talk about Phyllis. She's kind of
Yes.
been teetering on the edge lately.
Yeah, she's a little bit out there. Yeah, I mean,
she's a firecracker.
Yeah,
Wow.
and there's times when I'm watching her, she wears me out because it's like,
I
oh
know.
my God, Phyllis, you just don't let it go.
Yeah.
Like with
If she was
Daniel.
nagging on you like that, you'd be like, oh, just leave me alone.
Leave me. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I felt sorry for Daniel. He wanted nothing to do with coming to work for Billy. And Phyllis was bound and determined that she was going to talk him into it and talk Billy into it, And they're both saying, hey, Daniel doesn't want to come. And Daniel say, I don't want to come, and I'm okay with that. And Billy finally had to push Phyllis out of the way and say, I'm bringing in Sally, which really...
He did the right thing. But
Yeah,
of
and
course,
he
then
really-
the fact that it's Sally, that just rubs it in the wound,
And then she said, well, you just exchanged one girlfriend for another girlfriend.
And he kind of did. But
Yeah, he kind of did. But Sally has really been good too. She's been considerate to Phyllis, but Phyllis pushes it too much. Phyllis really pushes it.
she pushes everybody's buttons. She
Yeah,
really
and
does.
yeah, and she was pushing Sharon's buttons, but after they spent a lot of time in that room together, they kind of came to terms with each other. Yeah,
Funny
Phyllis
how
is.
that happens.
Yeah, so I don't know if from that experience, the mind game that was played on them, if Phyllis is still, a little out of sorts
Out of
because of
sorts,
that.
yeah.
Because and she doesn't have a job, and and then she thought because she read Billy's text on his phone that he had forgotten at the restaurant. He left it behind by accident. So she read some things and she saw Aristotle Dumas' name. So she was going to call Aristotle, and she thought she could get an appointment with him at the receptionist. That was the scenario. That receptionist of Aristotle said no. And Phyllis kept pushing it. And he finally just hung up on her. And so it'll be interesting to see where Phyllis falls next, because right now she has no job, and no prospects, and she just, she was finding a comrade in Nick, talking with him. Well, then Sharon observed that, and we'll be talking about that a little bit. So, I think right now Nick is caring and good to her, and listening to her, and she needs somebody like that.
Yeah, agreed. That's kind of his role lately, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So Mariah, she's kind of a train wreck as well. What's going on there?
I know. Because she hasn't admitted yet what is going on, why she feels so guilty about something. And she came back from a business trip, and she just being a totally different person. And I don't know what is really going on, but I wonder if she maybe was with somebody else and she's feeling guilty about that. If she had like a little one night of fling or something with someone, I don't know, because she's not letting on what's really happening. Why she's having.
Didn't she talk though, Luann, about she had guilt surrounding around the whole the crazy man that died recently.
And I think she did that. She's the reason why he kind of came back to town, because he still kind of wanted her. And so I don't know. That might be part of it.
And so Mariah's girlfriend or wife?
Wife.
What's her name? Tessa?
Tessa.
Tessa.
Yeah.
So is Tessa, what's going on with her?
Tessa has been helping Daniel. Is
that going somewhere?
That would be interesting if it does, because Daniel needs, now that Heather's gone, if Daniel is looking for, right now he's not looking for a relationship, but he's looking for a good friend, and he's trying to find his niche, because he didn't want to go to work for Billy. So Tessa's been,
and Phyllis.
Or Phyllis.
Well, Phyllis.
Through Phyllis. And Tessa he said, hey, I'd really like to learn guitar. So Tessa said, well, I could show you how to play guitar. So they've been leaning on each other. And then I think it was last week or early this week, Daniel was meeting her in the park, and Tessa came there, and because after a conversation with Mariah, she was not herself. So Daniel was wondering what was going on, and so she started crying on his shoulder. But she didn't say anything, and Mariah doesn't say what's bothering her. So she just runs off. So
your theory is interesting about her, something that may have happened on that business trip.
That's what I'm thinking.
If she was cheated on Tessa, or
that's what I'm thinking.
And, that would be interesting if that played out, because then I could see Tessa learning to teach
Daniel
more than just guitar.
Exactly. She's a very good teacher.
Evidently. We'll see, but I can see that storyline playing out, actually.
Yeah. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, interesting.
Depending upon what Mariah is feeling guilty about, if it is something like that, then Tessa will really be leaning on Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then my theory could become true. That's what you're saying, right, Luann?
Yes.
All right. How about Sharon? So is Sharon, I have a question for you. Is Sharon falling in love with Nicholas again? Nick?
I think she is.
I do
because she got jealous when she saw Phyllis and Nick talking, and she's kind of like, what are you guys talking about? Where are you going? Or where and it's like, and Nick even asked her, he's like, why are you asking me these questions? Are you jealous? And she's like, no. But I because even when she was when she was doing those, somebody was slipping her some drugs and she was having those hallucinations, the person she was always seeing was Nick. And it was kind of like, oh, Nick, you're here to be with me. So she was seeing him a lot, and her subconscious maybe was playing games on her, but it's the true feelings maybe.
Sometimes coming through, yeah.
Yeah, but I had to chuckle. It was a week ago. He went to England with Sharon and their kids to see their kids and stuff. Well, when he came back, he met with Victoria, and Victoria's like, "Hey, how did it all go over in England?" He said, "Really good," and she said, "Well, did things kind of reconnect between you and Sharon?" And he goes into this and he says, "Yeah, it really went well. And what we decided to do is we just got married." And he said, "We had, our children there as witnesses. So we just got married." And Victoria's like, "Oh my God, Nick, I can't believe you did that." And he's like, "I'm just joking." And I thought, hey, that was a pretty good one, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when he said it, he said, "Well, we got married," and it broke to commercial. And I thought, oh my gosh, they got married in England. And then when they came back, he was leading her on some more. And then he finally said, "No, I'm just joking. I'm pulling your lariat."
It's kind of believable, though.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Because I thought I could see them doing it. You got caught up in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right. Any other storylines or comments, predictions from you, Luann?
Oh, I'm trying to think here because, because not much has really been happening.
Outside of that, what we've talked about.
Because, the Abbotts remodeled their home. The Newmans remodeled their home. Billy Boy is still trying to get his new company off. What
are we going to learn about? And because he's new on the show, I'm going to forget his name. So I might need your help here. But Victoria's boyfriend / husband.
What is his name? Yeah. Well, the thing
he's going to be sick, right? I mean, we're going to find out
when he came back from his trip, he had a really bad cough, and
I think
they were a little concerned.
Some strange African disease.
Yeah, maybe. And so I kind of wonder too. But he said he had his test. I don't think he got his results back yet. But
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so I don't know. And Victor's really taken him in now under his wing. He's given him a position in the company, and Victoria's asked him if he wants to move into the house now.
I like him. I hope they keep him on the show, damn it.
I know, because actually he's been good for Victoria, even though we can't remember his name.
I know. He must be monumental. We can't even remember his name.
We'll correct it on the next one.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll talk about it. I should have a list of who's who.
I know, I should too. So I need characters
because
pulled up.
we got out of sync here since we haven't podcasted for a while.
I said that. I said to Suzette, she was sitting in here when I was doing the agenda, and I said, I got to actually go to the CBS app and pull up the pictures that have the names and everything on them. Because they said it's been so dang long since we've done these. I can't remember some of the characters.
I know, because
I remember who they are. I don't remember names.
Right. And I'm trying to even remember the whole Tracy scenario going on too, and that actually was some good.
That was a good storyline. I just
that was
didn't
a very
dig
good
back
storyline.
Quite that far because I thought we had enough to cover.
Yeah, no, it was a very good storyline, and even though it was hard to see Tracy get hurt again, but we all kind of knew that this was not going to be
that.
Yeah, you predicted it that it wasn't going to be
the brothers that flipped in the death. I knew that they were going to pull that card.
Yeah,
but they said the body was there. Did they ever explain that?
No, I don't think they really did.
Because I remember when I predicted that, and you said, "Yeah, but Mark, they found the body."
Yes,
of the brother.
Yeah,
and I said, but it's a soap. It's going to end up being the brother.
Exactly.
And it was too.
It's funny how they bring everybody back. Like now Amanda's been back.
I know.
And that was a surprise. People that die,
they're like cats. They have 9 lives,
Yes, right. But no, it's good to be back and to see you and to podcast and to share our thoughts about Young and the Restless. It feels good.
It is. It's good to be back. Until we dish again, keep it sudsy.
Oh, yeah.
And we're out.